Hello viewers and welcome to our top-notch education consultancy programs. As you're aware, you've been dealing with the set books, Fathers of Nations, The Samaritan, A Silent Song and Other Stories, and Parliament of Owls. We are privileged this morning to operate from home, and I would like to invite you again to enjoy our programs even as we present from the comfort of home. The schools are on holiday, and that is why we are currently operating at home, and you'll bear with us. We are not at our studio today. Again, I would want us to go through the Parliament of Owls in our production today, and the first thing that I would like us to look at is Act 2. Because we've dealt with Act 1, of course, you're aware that in Act 1 we have 3 episodes, and we have been able to discuss the 3 episodes. The first episode in Act 1 is Oktogo mourning the death of his kinsman. Remember, the other name for Osogo is the weaver bird. He's mourning the death of the 33 that have been massacred by the Parliament of Owls. So that is the first interaction in episode 1 of Act 1. Then we have episode number 2, that is when the Parliament of Owls, through Moneybags, is trying to enlist Telltale actually to spread the propaganda about the Moonlight Bill that they want to bring to the floor of the House. Remember, this is a very oppressive bill, but they intend to use it to quieten or to silence those birds that operate at night. And the third episode is the attempt now to enlist a room TD when Telltale refuses to accept to be misused again, because remember, his services was enlisted to spread propaganda, and out of that propaganda 33 weaver birds were killed. So when Telltale refuses to take up that responsibility, then they are now resorting to a room TD, and that is the episode number 3. So a room TD is now enlisted to spread this propaganda about the coming bill, and that is the Moonlight Bill. So those are the 3 episodes of Act 1. Then there are also other episodes in Act 2, and let me just talk about them before I move to what I really want to talk about this morning. Now, in Act 2, we also have 4 episodes that I've come up with. The first one is the passing of the Moonlight Bill. So it becomes episode number 4 when you are looking at the book in its entirety, but episode number 1 in Act 1. So these are the things that you really need to know. So as an episode, we would want to call it the Moonlight Bill is passed. So this is where Moneybags and the Speaker and the other pro-Parliament of Owls birds come together and they pass this bill. Then the second episode in Act 2 is organizing for the homecoming after the passing of the bill. Remember, they have won and they want a celebration. And that one now comes as episode number 2 in Act 2. But essentially, if you are looking at the book in its entirety, then it's going to be episode number 5. Then after that, we have the uprising after the passing of the Moonlight Bill. So that there is that disquiet that is coming out very clearly after having passed this bill. The birds are a bit uncomfortable, especially the night birds. They feel that this bill is going to be very oppressive to them, and therefore they are coming and telling the Parliament of Owls that this is a wrong bill. And there is that quiet or silent uprising, and they feel that a room TD is part of this, because kind of his message, his singing is coded, and therefore they are afraid that these birds are coming and actually trying to resist the Moonlight Bill. Now, the 7th episode, if you look at the book in its entirety, is the Moneybags hallucination, or what I call it, the dream, when it begins now to dream because of the impending danger, because there is that sinister mood in the air, and therefore he's dreaming of the takeover by the other birds to take over the kingdom. So I have given a list of those episodes from episode number 1 to episode number 7. That means Act 2 and Act 1 combined give us a total of 7 episodes. That is okay, and I hope you have understood that. Now, because we have discussed episode number 1, episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4 and 5, this morning I intend to discuss the so-called the uprising after the passing of the Moonlight Bill. That will form the basis of my discussion today. And when this episode begins, the episode that I call the uprising of the Nightbirds to take over the Parliament of Owls, there is a red string and the moneybags. They hear Arum Tidi is singing, but the kind of song that Arum is singing is coded. But again, at the very beginning of it, they think that Arum Tidi is spreading the propaganda about maybe the royal owl is supposed to meet the birds in the evening. But when you look at it keenly, it is a kind of a song that is trying to mobilize the birds to resist oppression and fight for their freedom. And therefore, the moneybag and also the red string, they're kind of alarmed when this happens. So at a closer look, Moneybags realizes that the song is working against their interest. He is suspicious why Arum Tidi should be singing a freedom song at the time when the birds are planning to stage a struggle for freedom against them. So you can see there is that alarm that is coming, even as Arum Tidi is singing, because they thought that he would mobilize the birds to come over and probably have a celebration and being talked to by the royal owl. But that is not what is happening. The message of Arum Tidi is coded. So alarmed, Moneybag instructs Red String to look for the one-eyed. I think this is one guy that does their killing or maybe the dirty work that they're engaged in. So this bird is specifically meant to do the dirty work for Parliament of Owls, and that is why now Moneybag instructs the Red String to look for him, so that he can take Arum Tidi to the Waterstone Point. And remember, there is the story of the Waterstone Point, because they believe anytime Arum is taken there, Arum is going to peck himself and finally fight his own image, and finally, definitely, he would die. So they are planning to kill Arum, but silently, because they believe that if they take him to this Waterstone Point, he is going to fight himself and peck himself to death. So that is the second bit of it. Then they realize that Arum Tidi is having what we call the coded message in his singing, and therefore he has to be dealt with promptly. And from there now, Blackstring comes and informs Moneybags that even the police owl has informed him that the other birds are coming to demonstrate at Parliament or at the royal trees. And this actually has sent shake waves on Moneybag, and therefore they have to take austerity measures to make sure that this does not happen. This bit where the night birds are actually organizing a demonstration to come to the Parliament or to go to the royal trees to demonstrate against the so-called the Moonlight Bill. So they are not for this, and therefore they have to take a measure to make sure that these birds are stopped at all cost. They decide to enlist the vultures and crows. Unfortunately, at one time, they had short-changed them, and therefore, when they realized that they may not play ball because of what had happened previously, because they had taken the sacred tree by the crows, and turned it into what they call the secret surveillance tower. So they had actually robbed them of their home, and that home that was previously called the sacred tree is now the secret surveillance tower. So they realized that these birds may not play ball, and for that reason they shelved off the idea and they have to come up with another idea. What is it now? They finally settle on Telltale, because Telltale also, they had misused it the other time, and remember 33 weaver birds had been killed. So they think that maybe they can rebuy him, but this time around they are going to redouble the kind of money that he was given, or the kind of token that he was given to do the dirty job. So Moneybag now instructs the Black String to enlist the services of Telltale again, but it should be given double of what he was given the other time. So remember, there is this bit of corruption and bribery. Probably anytime they want to do something dirty, they would want to bribe their ways through. So that also happens, and also they think that if the demonstration of the night bus goes on, they will use Olik Tiger. Olik Tiger is a bat, and Olik Tiger has very sharp teeth, because he's in between. He's kind of a bird and he's not a bird, and they are going to use him. Now, for those birds that are going to be chaotic at night, so Olik Tiger will be used to bite them at night. So they're really trying every other means to make sure that the demonstration that is supposed to be there does not happen. Then finally, Moneybags reveals why he works for the Royal Owl. It's not that he's very selfless and working, but he's working for tenders. And actually he says that this time round, let the Royal Owl not mess him up and give these tenders to his many mistresses. If that happens, he's not going to accept it. So we realize that all this effort that he's making to protect the kingdom of the Royal Owl is simply because of the tenders that he gets from it. So our episode ends at that level, and that is it. And I hope that you've been able to see the kind of corruption, the kind of intimidation, the kind of bribery, the kind of blackmail that comes out in this text, The Parliament of Owls by Odile Posidang, in this episode. I call it the Uprising episode, and it is episode number 6, if you look at the text in its entirety. Thank you, and may God bless you as we continue to listen to our programs.